In order to rank in the top 4% of podcasts that have ever existed in the history of podcasting, all you have to do is make 6 episodes.
I know exactly what I need to create the outcome that I want. What does it take? What does it take to have a really big podcast or to get out there? And it's like, well, we just did it.
Wait, you told me?
Yeah.
People who pay attention.
I think it depends. Like Jessica Alba, when she started Honest, she really wanted it, right? It was her baby. It was like the thing that she birthed. And then I think there's other people who just get to put their names on things. We all think that we're inventing something new, but we're not. I say you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can redesign it.
Jacqueline, I'm so scared. I've never spent this much money. Like, am I being scammed? Like, what do I do here?
Do you regret it?
No, I don't regret it at all. Welcome to Slay the Gatekeeper. I'm your host, Courtney Johnson, and I am here to ungatekeep the gatekept. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy. Jacqueline, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited you're here. Whenever I met you, I already knew who you were. And I'm like, my goal by the end of all of this is to get you on my podcast. And now we're here in LA at your house.
So good. And what's crazy is I think I was telling you that I was going back through saved reels that I have. And from like 3 years ago, I have a reel of like content saved of you. Or I'm like, oh, she's real good. Let's save that for later.
I wonder what video it was.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll go
it's
back.
Just you being really smart talking into a mic.
Me being silly. Yeah, that was like OG in my content creation days, probably.
Yeah.
I love it. Jacqueline, what's your dream?
Ooh. My dream is, I think it's a feeling, and it's a feeling to feel free. Mm-hmm. I'm living in my dream house, which is something that I always wanted. So this is kind of cool to do it from here because I manifested this house. We were talking about that this morning. For me, my dream is to feel free and to feel safe, but to also feel in like massive abundance. So to really be able to create my own destiny, to be able to create my own money, which had a lot to do with like my destiny, what I get to create, and not having to worry about bills and all that, but actually to travel the world with my kids and my husband and do what we want and buy what we want and save and just feel really abundant.
Mm-hmm. Where are you going to travel to?
We have already gone to Japan and Europe in the last couple of years since the kids got older. And we were lucky I was able to take my mom, and my mom just passed from stage 4 colorectal cancer. So get your screenings. Mm-hmm. We were able to go first class and like do all these really amazing things. And that was all through earning and creating. Where do we want to go next? I think we want to go to Morocco and Spain. We want to go back to Greece. Really just see the world. We want to see the Northern Lights. Yeah. All places with my family.
That's amazing. That's so beautiful. And I love to hear that you're living so many parts of your dream. So you were a artist and designer and then became an expert in the product industry and now help people sell their products.
Yeah. I'm in my 40s. Mm-hmm. So I've been in this for about 20 years. And growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just knew I was an artist. I was creative as a designer. I'd paint. And then I went to normal college and realized I was in the wrong place. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I want to be creative. And then I realized I could be a fashion designer. So I, for a long time, was a designer, worked for other people, then started my own company, and I've consulted over 2,000 brands. And then I even built one of my own. So like Kim Kardashian, Carrie Underwood, all these people, these celebrities were wearing I made a wearable wrist wallet, but they were really chic and cool. And then in the last like 8-9 years, we've started The Product Boss, which is a podcast and an education company. And that's really for people who make and sell things, whether they're makers or manufacturers. They make we're surrounded by some of the objects that they make here. And so it's been really great helping people who have their creatives and their designers or their makers, and they want to bring something to this world and sell it. And I've been really honored to have so many students do that.
That's amazing. If I had The Product Boss when I had a product company, it would have survived.
You would have been more motivated by group.
Exactly.
Community.
Okay, let's get into our cheat codes. You have some really, really good cheat codes that I just cannot wait to share with our audience. And let's start with cheat code number 1, and that is consistency is what scales you. Tell me about this one.
Yeah. Consistency. I think the idea here, and I'll say it with my podcast, for example, I've had my podcast since 2018 and we have over 700 episodes. And so people are always like, what does it take? What does it take to have a really big podcast or to get out there? And it's like, well, we just did it. I used to have a business partner and a co-host, and we broke up about 2 years ago, but we're still very good friends. But the thing is like we were like the thing that always gets to happen is our podcast.
Yeah.
So I think from a consistency perspective, you can get better at anything if you stay consistent. I know they say that 10,000 hours makes you an expert. And so for everyone out there to think about this, it's like, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to be known for? What can you repeat and just get really, really good at? I used to not be good at speaking. I'd get so sweaty and nervous speaking in front of people. Like I'd put paper towels under my armpits and be like, like I'm going to go out there and talk to people. And there's only 40 people. And now I can stand in front of a room of, 1,000 people because I know what I'm talking about. I've practiced it over and over and over. And that really came with just being consistent in what I want to bring to the world.
Yeah, there's this quote from Naval Ravikant that says it's not 10,000 hours, it's 10,000 iterations. And I truly believe that is reality. I mean, in order to rank in the top 4% of podcasts that have ever existed in the history of podcasting, all you have to do is make 6 episodes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm like,
yeah.
Well, great. I did it.
You literally did it. The reason why Joe Rogan is consistently like the number 1 most influential podcaster, and he always ranks number 1, is because nobody else has 3,000 episodes. Nobody does. It really is like the consistency and the iteration after iteration that is going to bring you the audience and the power. Same as social media. Like if you look at any major social media creator, it's just the people that have posted the people that have 5,000 posts. You posted every day for years, because I don't think there's a way to fail if you're doing that. As long as you're iterating and improving on every iteration, there is no way to fail. Like even the greatest artists in the world are the ones that have the biggest volume of work.
Yes, 100%. And I think what you said with iterations, like it's okay to continue to evolve and grow and shift your messaging and shift who you're serving or shift how you serve yourself.
Yeah.
And so we get to learn through it all. Me 20 years ago, me 10 years ago, me even 6 months ago was so different. But the thing is that like, I am a beast. I'm a workhorse. Like I will learn something and I will just keep going and keep doing it. Like I get, I'm not obsessive over what I do, but I love it. Like I love what I do. And so I love doing it and then learning through it. And so, yeah, I completely agree with the consistency and the iterations.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so, so important. So our next cheat code is around how to start a CPG brand the right way. You said, you see a lot of people that dream about starting a product brand. They don't have a lot of time, maybe don't have a lot of money when they're starting out. And you say that there's smarter ways to do this. So I'm curious, if somebody were to come to you today, if I were to come to you today saying, I want to start a product brand, what would be your number 1 first step?
Yeah. Well, first I'd ask you why.
Yeah.
Right? You and I talked about this on my show where it's a lot of effort. It costs money to start a product-based business because you fund the goods before you ever really ship them. So first I'd ask you why, because there needs to be 2 whys. The why for you. Why do you want to do this? Second why is why for your customer. Do you know who your customer is? Why do they need another XYZ? Because it probably is another. So I'd love a great answer on that. And it doesn't really matter because when I say great answer, we get to move through it and discover your why. But I think if you're going to go into it, you want to have that. And for yours and the yoga mats, you're like, there's just something missing. I see this gap in the market that they're not cute. They're either too mandala-y or too plain. And how do we find that middle range? Because for you wanted to use it. Like you wanted to show up consistently to the mat. The second step would be, okay, let's come up with the ideas. And I talk about the known for method. So a lot of times people are like, I want to do beauty care, beauty packaging, or beauty products. And they're like, I'm going to do face and oil and cleanser and da-da-da-da-da-da. Or you're coming out with something. You did a great job because you're like, I'm doing yoga mats. You weren't like, I'm doing yoga mats and the blocks and the outfits and everything. So the second part I would ask and say is, let's figure out what you're known for. It could be a hero product, like a single product with variations like you. It could be a collection, so something we get to use together, like 3 products together or 5 products, or let's say you're in fashion and you have a collection of swimsuits. And so we'd really figure out what we get to be known for, core collection or hero product. And that typically is a thing that could really drive the business forward. And so really it's that ideate phase, which I call it's ideate it. So ideate it with your why, ideate what it is. And then once you figure that out, then we get to figure out how to make it.
Yeah. Hot question, spicy question. Do you have any opinions on like well-known people, celebrity brands that actually care and are really passionate about a product versus who's just doing a little cash grab?
Kind of spicy. So since I've been in business for 2 decades, I was coming up in the time that all the like, celebrities had their own clothing lines. And actually one of my first jobs was working for a celebrity, Jamie Presley. She was on My Name is Earl back then and on Mom. And she had a knitwear line that I was her designer. At the same time, J-Lo was knocking off Juicy Couture tracksuits. So there were like J-Lo sweatsuits. And that's when Gwen Stefani came out with her brand. So back then, I think that apparel was the trend for celebrities. Then it moved into cosmetics and hair care products. That's kind of where we're at right now, I think. And alcohol brands, which is funny because alcohol, I feel like it's sort of teetering between like people using it or not. So is it a cash grab or is it something they're really passionate about? I think it depends on who it is. So if you think about people like Gwen Stefani, she's a true artist. And when she created like her entire brand, it was very much a part of her. But realize that if they're in collaboration with big companies, a lot of times it's namesake. Actually, this morning I was watching Joanna Gaines get a Barbie of her, right? And so she's a part of the process, but sometimes it's like that co-brand sort of situation. So I think it depends. Like Jessica Alba, when she started Honest, like she really wanted it, right? It was her baby. It was like the thing that she birthed. And then I think there's other people who just get to put their names on things.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I'm always curious. I'm like,
Yeah.
Especially with perfumes, I'm really sus because I'm like,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
no.
highest profit margins.
Yeah, no, perfumes are really like I think co-branded perfumes.
Yeah.
You know, but if they sell something like Tracee Ellis Ross has Pattern, and Tracee Ellis Ross is Diana Ross's daughter. She started the Pattern hair care products, which were really it was for curly hair, like kinky hair, curly hair, and she really saw this gap in the market, and she wanted to bring it forward, and so she's created amazing products that I think really kicked off a category in the industry where then now people are trying to be like Pattern. So right, so she's a celebrity, she's an actor, she's incredible, and she came out with something that there was really a gap. So I think we get to kind of, I think authentically we all get to see like, oh, is it just their name on something or are they really into this thing? I think J-Lo is the mother of all of it.
Yeah.
She's like, she just knows, she's like such a businesswoman. She knows what products to get into. Is she like hyper involved in the creativity? I don't know. Let's ask her. Let's have her on the show.
Let's have her on the show. What would you say to someone that's like, I really have this product idea and I've been wanting to do it and like, I definitely could do it, but that's not for me. I'm scared. I feel like that's for somebody else to do, not me. Because I know there's some people listening right now being like, okay, this is interesting. I clicked on this episode because I actually do have this idea and I actually could create something and I'll just listen because I'm curious, but haven't really taken the step into commitment.
Yeah. So many people have ideas. And that's why I think Shark Tank does so well, because people will watch Shark Tank and they'll be like, I had that idea. Like throw things at the screen. In fact, my brother, my brother, when he lived in, I think, a frat house back when he was in college, had this idea. He called me in the middle of the night. He's like, my dog sheds. I'm going to make this onesie for my dog. Can you tell me how to sew over the phone? I was like, I can't tell you how to sew. Go to YouTube, right? And so he's making this onesie in the middle of the night for his dog. And he's like, look what we made. And we're like, that's silly and that's ridiculous. Cut to some years later, his ex-roommate took the idea because my brother did nothing with it. And we're watching Shark Tank. And his ex-roommate is on Shark Tank getting sharks to sponsor, like to give him money for this idea that my brother came up with that night. And so my brother was never going to do anything with it. And here's, I think, the difference. There's people who have ideas and they do not take action. And there's people who have ideas and they take action. And truthfully, none of our ideas are actually original. I've been in this industry long enough, and especially with one-on-one clients, where I'll know what's happening in the year. So when Lululemon was really growing and becoming really popular, people were coming out with their own athletic, like leisure wear brands. Men's swimwear, like I knew when men's swimwear was getting into a range of going from like surfwear into people starting lines, because I would have clients come in and want to develop it. So I'm usually aware of the trends. Devil Wears Prada. Did you ever see it? So she's like, you think you're so anti-fashion wearing that, but that's cerulean blue. And that comes from this runway show this many years ago. And now it's made it to the racks of Ross or whatever she says. And so it's like, we all think that we're inventing something new. but we're not. I say you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can redesign it. So when someone's coming out with these ideas, one, the difference between you and everybody else, and I think you say this with LinkedIn even, is like just doing it, just being consistent with it, just coming out with the idea and trying it. And so if you've got a great idea and you want to take action on it, try it. I think one of the things that I teach is this idea of test and try. You could create content around it and put it out in front of people and see if they're resonating. I had a client that did equestrian apparel for tweens, and it was actually during the pandemic. So we couldn't get the materials, we couldn't make the things. And we just decided to start posting content that tween equestrian riders would like and fashion that they would like and getting feedback. And so we started to really grow an audience of like warm buyers that were following. And then when we came out with the product, they were a part of the process. We were able to launch it to them. And so I think we get to really just, when I talk about the Shark Tank idea, I don't want you sitting around and being like, I had that idea and I didn't take action. And then test, try, do it. It doesn't have to be hard. And I said this last night, but action takers are money makers. So if you want to make some money, you got to take some action. You can't just think about it.
Action takers are money makers. That is so good. And I just want to come back to this. This is bonus cheat code you're giving. I think this is so valuable. So you're saying if you have an idea and you're maybe not ready to take action on it, or maybe you're like me and you like to start with the minimum viable product, absolute. Like I always think, okay, I have this idea. How can I start this in the next hour with $0? And I think creating a page is so smart. So they were like, we want to create this equestrian brand for teens. Start a page around the culture of a teen equestrian world and competitions and lifestyle on Instagram. And then you're growing your buyers. So I think anybody thinking right now, like, I'm obsessed with organic beauty, I'm obsessed with protein shakes, I'm obsessed with whatever. Great, you want to make a protein shake. Can you just start posting your protein smoothie recipes right now?
Yeah.
So when you do launch, when you do start the thing, when it does go public, you already have this audience. And not only that, but they can help you throughout. You're saying they can also be like, here's what color I want it. They can give you feedback. They can essentially be like your focus group.
Yeah. I mean, you and I were talking about getting a good matcha latte this morning, and you're like, oh, it's hard to travel because you're in Los Angeles right now doing this. And so let's just say you were like, I want to create matcha kits. And that's what they want to bring to market. You could create content and just make your own matchas or source matcha content from social, posting it and having just like a matcha page, matcha, all the recipes. People are like, oh my God, I love this. And they start to know, like, and trust you. And then you could be like, hey, since you come to me and I'm the matcha queen, what do you want? What if I came up with my own, and then you could talk about all the things like, oh, these ones are great with pistachio milk and blah, blah, blah. And so then you're bringing them along on the ride and they get to even participate. Like they get to vote. What do you want the first 3 flavors to be? And then they're really, really excited because they feel like they trust you. They know you. They've come along on the journey with you. And then you get to have this really warm audience that gets to get on a wait list. You get to launch them. They get to, you kind of want that scarcity of product, scarcity of time. And so, yeah, I think that's a really cool way. If I teach how to sell products without social as well. So I want to say this just to be super clear. The way that I teach is you can use other people's audiences. You don't need social media, but you absolutely can use it as a tool. And I think this is one of those really powerful ways to use social as a tool.
I think that's just so freaking genius. Also, I'm like this close to starting a matcha company.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm really close. I think I'm just concerned about the supply chain of it all. But I've got a deck. I've got a plan.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
we were just chatting over.
I have an investor.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I just haven't pulled the trigger. So
I'll be on the advisory board.
We'll see. Yeah, it's also like, do I want to do another thing? Like, I don't know, right?
We could talk about that offline.
We'll see. We'll talk about it. But I'm going to plant the seeds. If you guys want a matcha brand. I do like the idea of travel matcha kits because I can't really drink matcha when I travel because every matcha sucks. Or, I don't know, in LA there's a lot of great matcha spots. But like, I went to a matcha spot I was really excited about yesterday. And it was like a 45-minute line. And it's in this like obscure part of town, Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to make matcha more accessible.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. Okay, so transitioning to the back end of your business, not just the product stuff that you're teaching, but how you're actually getting clients and customers. I think a cheat code that you do really well is webinars. Most of my clients have never hosted or sold anything on a webinar. So how would you use webinars as a cheat code for anyone?
Okay, so I'm actually going to back this up a little bit because I use webinars to convert and create the conversion, but I actually have been really successful in challenges and boot camps.
Okay.
So a challenge and a boot camp, and we've done free, we've started doing paid this year. That's something where you gather people for sometimes 3 days to 5 days and you teach them something over the process. The reason that's worked for me and my customers is, you know, if you are selling courses to people that are digital marketing and course creators, we're all sort of used to the online world. We play the same game. But product-based business owners, a lot of them are coming from Etsy or in-person markets or selling wholesale. And so they're not as used to the like, oh yeah, I'm just going to take this webinar and convert. So what we've done for years and years and years are 5-day challenges. We're running one right now called Rock Your Holiday Promotions Challenge. We do it every single holiday season where we teach them how to build their Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Wait, is this live?
Yeah.
For like an hour a day or what?
Yeah, an hour a day in the morning I teach. And then they can upgrade to VIP and for another hour. So I'm usually on for like 2 to 3 hours a day for 5 days. Yeah.
Okay, so they can upgrade and they can have like coaching time with you?
Yeah, like they'll get questions answered. Because we used to do everything for free. Listen, the thing with free right now is that people aren't showing up.
Yeah.
Oof, it is so. We used to have like a 30% show up rate. Now we're getting 15 to 20%. 20%'s good.
Wait, you told me?
Yeah.
People who pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
That was mind-blowing for me.
It's true because it's like we all can just give our email addresses for everything. And then we're going to get the emails and we're going to ignore the emails. So we've had the biggest shift this year where we took our free challenges and moved them to paid boot camps. $27, $37 to sign up. And then they can sign up for VIP, which is another $27 to $37.
So is that an order bump after the...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, hey, come, like you can watch it, but they're paying to watch it. So now we have 50 to 60% of people show up to watch it. And then if they upgrade to VIP, they get same idea. They get into like a room with me and I answer questions. Here's the craziest thing. The people who pay for VIP, like 70% of them convert to the $2,000 offer at the end.
70%?
70. So the number we get to really focus on is how do we get people in the VIP because that's where they're getting coached by me.
So what's the price point for VIP?
$37.
So it's $22 for the normal, $37
it's either,
for VIP.
It depends on where we put it, but it's either $27.27,
right?
So easy, or we change it to $27.37.
So it's a tiny, going up to VIP is a tiny bump.
Tiny bump.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're putting something in, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I've told you, like even 60% of the people show up, which means some people are putting $27 to $60 and they're not showing up at all. Right? So it's sort of like some people, that's okay. They'll just blow that cash. So I'll say that the reason for us challenges and boot camps work is that they need more time with me to believe in themselves. Because in order to convert someone, they either have to believe it, they have to believe in you and they have to believe in themselves. And if one of those is off, they're not going to convert. So they get to believe in me, like, oh, she knows what she's talking about, and then start to believe that it's possible for them. A webinar, which is what we technically do on day 3. We used to do it day 5, but nobody lasts 5 days. Think about New Year's resolutions and everyone dropping off by the 17th. But we do the webinar on the 3rd day. And I have done just straight webinars. And they've converted, but they tend, for me and my audience, they tend to need to be warmer audiences. That could also be a limiting belief, and I'm going to try anything, and I'm always willing to try. And so the webinar is this idea of like there's a very specific way that I follow it, that if you get them to believe that what you're offering them is the vehicle to their dream, then they can't help but say yes at the end.
Yeah.
And so there's really this process through that. And I mean, I've gotten to 30% conversion, which is really high.
That's huge.
You and I always talk about, I'm like, yeah, we need to know the data and the numbers. So I always I know the numbers so that I know exactly what I need to create the outcome that I want.
Damn. Yeah. I love the idea of a boot camp. I'm definitely going to try that. And a lot of my audience has like online offering, their coaches, stuff like that. And I think this really is easy to translate to that. Do you think a product-based business can do like a boot camp or something? I think it maybe depends on what product it is. Like I could have done it with yoga mats. Like there could have been a yoga challenge or something.
Yeah, 100%. So I have a student right now, Ballerina Spa. She's got a spa in Florida, and then Skin Divas is her brand. And she's got these 5 products that are transformational. It like helps with the biobarrier of your skin and repair. she does really well. And I've taught her like how to do a webinar. She does really well with webinars where she'll get in front of an audience. So let's say she'll collaborate with an influencer. She's like, yeah, I'll do a presentation. The presentation on the product is like a webinar, which also is sort of an infomercial, right? If we go back to infomercials, and she'll convert, and this product's a $500 system, and she'll convert. She doesn't have that many people on, and she'll convert like 50% of the people on. So, and then I know someone else who did this with soap. So it's the process of getting someone to believe in your product, understanding why. And then Russell Brunson teaches this, but it's the internal belief and external belief. So if you can hit an internal belief that they have of why I don't have enough time, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, and an external belief like, but I don't have an audience to sell to, or, but my skin is too old and wrinkly and this cream isn't going to work. If you can overcome those, then they can't help but say yes at the end.
That's so smart. By the way, I do hate the word webinar. Like I don't think anyone should use the word
okay,
webinar.
What are we changing it to?
Well, instead of webinar, like if I think of a skincare brand, something that I would go to if it was like a acne boot camp or something. And it's like in this 2 hours or over these 2 days, we're going to teach you like a little bit more about the science of like why you're getting acne, like an understanding of where it comes from and like the products that you could use. And like, we'll put together a skincare routine for you. Like I would do that. I would like I wouldn't go on that. I don't think if it was a webinar, it'd probably sound too scientific.
Yeah, and they wouldn't even know what it was.
Exactly. But if it was like, yeah, again, like we call this the acne boot camp, I would absolutely go and convert for whatever product. So I think that's really interesting. Like maybe product-based businesses. I see a lot of people do this with books.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, book. I guess that's like a education product. But I think there's so many, like, I just, like, having education around your product is so important and around what it is and why we should use it. I think there's so much we could do. Like, I'm even thinking about, like, baby products. Like, maybe you have, like, crib baby bumpers. Is there, like, a baby safety class you can teach? Like, how can you incorporate more education? Because I've also found that, like, there is so many products. There is so much information. There is so much overwhelm that what people are really desiring right now is entertainment and implementation. Like somebody could buy your workout bands, but until you're actually giving them like truly how to implement that and like helping them create a habit, they're not going to be a super fan. So how I'm thinking of the future of all this is just like, how can you create more community and entertainment and implementation around your product?
Yeah. No, it's a great idea. And I think it even happens. So some of the jewelry that I wear from this one brand, they're all about stacking necklaces. So maybe it's not even a webinar or like selling me something, but they're creating content showing me how to style. So it's kind of the same idea. It's like the implementation.
Styling. That's a really good idea.
So they'll be like, this is our 3 necklace stack of da-da-da. Trust, I've spent well over $1,000 on this jewelry because I was like, I need that stack. And then, I can interchange and use that same necklace with that other stack. And so really here's another cheat code. People want you to tell them what to buy.
Yeah.
They literally want you to tell them, buy this for this outcome. So it's like, if you want to look like this and be able to wear a cool necklace stack that looks this way, let me show you how to do it. And then it makes it so easy for them to say yes. That's why mannequins in stores do really well, or store windows or displays. You'll see a mannequin and then you'll try and go find the stuff on the shelf and it's gone. It's not there because people have seen it and they want to buy it. So I think if you can tell people what to buy, and you can do it in different ways, styling, modeling it for them, doing some sort of, like you said, education around it. Like, let's do a 5-day get to the mat challenge. And then here are the mats that we have to sell. Yeah. And that's going back to creating content and creating a community around what you're, like, the idea of what you're selling, like the mood, the feeling, the brand.
Oh my God, I'm going to make a matcha company. This is inspiring me. I'm going to hire you.
6-month goal.
And we're going to make matcha and it's going to be great. And I'm not going to deal with not having matcha. And then we're going to have, it's going to be around focus, and we're going to have like a focus challenge.
Ooh, so good. Drink your matcha, get some stuff done.
Yeah. Focus and productivity tailored. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Our last cheat code is investing in yourself. I was really nervous this year because I decided to spend $30,000 on a mastermind, like a year-long mastermind. So I called you and I was like, Jacqueline, I'm so scared. I've never spent this much money. Like, am I being scammed? Like, what do I do? And you're just like, Courtney, like, this is a part of it. You invest in yourself as you grow in your business. You're like, this is completely normal. Like, do it. And I'm like, okay. And it's ROI positive. It's great. And so your cheat code is really like, you have to invest in yourself. Like actually it's a non-negotiable.
It is, yeah.
And as I grow in my business, I see people around me and I'm like, oh, you actually cannot get to these levels without doing it. So how have you invested in yourself? And like, what do you recommend for others?
And I mean, let me just tell you, then I also helped you do another like $15,000 to
Yeah, then you
$18,000.
helped me press the button for another $15,000 to get like speaker trained. Yeah,
So I may or may not have to do with a lot of
yeah, you contributed to like 50 grand of me spending this year.
Do you regret it?
No, I don't regret it at all.
Good.
It's great. It's scary, but it's a great.
It's stretchy.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to people pay. When people pay, they pay attention. And especially the rooms you're getting into. That's why a mastermind's $30,000, like the kind you're getting into, because there's multimillionaires in there. And so the thing is, if you make something really cheap, a multimillionaire most likely, and this sounds like an assumption, but they're like, oh, it's fine. Even if it was $1,000 a month, they'd be like, it's $1,000 a month. I'm fine. I don't need to show up. I'm in a mastermind right now with people with like $50 million, $100 million companies. And it's really, we just put in a little bit of money to pay for speakers. This is like $6,000, $7,000 a year, and people just don't show up.
Yeah.
They don't show. They're like one of them calls herself the ghost of our mastermind. Whenever she'll just like pop in every once in a while. So when you pay attention. But I will say, I was a decade into my business. I started my first company at 26, and there wasn't this world. We didn't have podcasts. We didn't have online coaches or even Zoom where we could meet, right? So the things that I was a part of were very much in person. I'd either, since I was in the fashion industry, I'd fly to fashion events, more like trade shows, and go to the sourcing or the trends and stuff like that and try and self-source for myself. A decade in, I'm in my business and things just feel like I've got kids at this point and I'm just like feeling super overwhelmed. And I had a client actually say, hey, do you listen to podcasts? And I was like, no, what's that? And so she introduced me to a few, and there's this one that I really resonated with. I started listening to her and I was like, oh my God, I need to be in a mastermind with her. And so that was the first time I paid money to be with someone. Then I was paying her $2,000 a month as a coach. And then ever since then I've changed, because what did it do for me? It shifted me into like, I was in scarcity. She's like, you can charge more. So I went from charging $1,800 a month to $10,000 a month. Being a mom with young kids, I felt really stretched. I didn't have a model before me to say, this is what it looks like to be like a kick-ass business person and have a young family. And so she's like, pay for the kind of help you can afford. So we started sending our laundry out. I started sending my kids to, they were like an extended daycare so that I could spend more time with them, quality time. And so I think that was the very beginning. I mean, I've spent like the same amount as you, like $50,000 a year consistently now, I'd say for the last like probably 9 years. Well, it's grown. I didn't have 50,000 when I first started. And I think that that's the thing. You get in the room, it raises your ceiling. Like I actually hate the idea of the glass ceiling. I'm like, lift the lid, that anything's possible, but it lifts what you're available for. It lifts what you even are aware of. Cause we've all grown up in different towns. We are exposed to different people. And when you start to see what's possible, anything is possible, and you see other people modeling it for you, and then this access to them, and then you get a really good coach that could just like shrink and collapse timelines for you. It's ROI always. Education is always ROI. No one can take education away from you.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Oh, so good. Well, Jacqueline, how can people find you and work with you?
Thank you. Okay, so you can listen to the Product Boss podcast. So anywhere you listen to podcasts. We also have a YouTube channel. So just search The Product Boss. And I really mainly hang out on Instagram, but we're working on growing our TikTok presence and everything else.
I'll get you on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
too.
and LinkedIn. So everywhere, The Product Boss. And send me a DM if you hear this and you want to connect.
Amazing. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Yay.